In a standard classic RTS, you start out knowing nothing about your enemy. Enemies are usually hidden from you and you have no clue what they are up to. And that's where intel comes in. To get that intel, you need to scout. Scouting is essential if you want to stay one step ahead of your opponent. It tells you what kind of technology they are investing in, their economy, base location, and defenses. Scouting reveals the enemy within your unit's vision, but hiding and revealing enemies based on unit vision is confusing to the players. Player needs visual feedback to visualize the range of sight of their units. To help players understand what's being revealed and what's hidden, we use Fog of War. Fog of War acts as a visual indicator. It helps players to understand where their units can see and what parts of the maps are hidden. Without Fog of War, it would be hard to know which areas you have revealed and which are still hidden. In this devlog, we'll dive into how I made the Fog of War mechanics in the game. Before we are able to share how I made the Fog of War, we first need to understand the rules for visibility. Units can only see in their line of vision. They cannot see behind obstacles such as hills, trees, or any obstruction on the map. Units on high ground can see those on lower grounds, but units on lower grounds cannot see those on high grounds. Now that we've understood the rules, let me share how I designed the system. First, take a unit. For example, we call him Bob. Bob has a vision range of 7. I cast a sphere around Bob with a radius of 7 to detect all nearby enemies. Then I run a ray from each enemy to Bob. If the ray hits an obstacle, Bob can see that enemy. If it doesn't, Bob then can see the enemy. I then check the y-axis of the enemy and then compare it to Bob. If the enemy is lower or at the same height, Bob can see the enemy. Otherwise, if the enemy is higher, they are hidden from Bob. Then we disable the enemy's renderer based on Bob's vision. Now that we have covered unit visibility, we need visual feedbacks to show the players their unit's vision. Without it, the transition between revealed and hidden enemies would feel abrupt and disorienting. That's why we use Fog of War to visualize the unit's vision. Next, I'll explain my approach to drawing the Fog of War. First, I create a raw image overlay. This overlay has a texture that Unity generates at runtime. The texture is set to black with 50% opacity, so that the player can still see through the Fog of War. To create a mesh, I cast 32 rays outward from the center of Bob in all directions. Each ray travels 7 units based on Bob's vision range. If a ray hits an obstacle, it stops at the point of collision. Finally, we use the points where this ray ends to find the edges of Bob's vision mesh. This mesh is then used to mask the texture, visualizing Bob's vision within the Fog of War. Now we have a functioning Fog of War with units visibility. Stay tuned for the next devlog episode where I will share another gameplay mechanics. I have a Discord channel where I interact with the communities that has been following the development of this game. Join the Discord to be among the first to get notified about any updates. If you're curious about how this all develops, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'd also like to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment on how I can further improve the game. Thank you so much for watching this devlog episode. Drop a comment if you have any questions or idea. And until next time, goodbye.